Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finals of the New Jersey Invitational, the conclusion of Season 2 here on the SCG Tour. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan in the booth, bringing you our final match. The winner of this is headed to the StarCityGames.com Players Championship. They'll also get an invite to Pro Tour Kaladesh in Honolulu, $10,000, their likeness on a card, and a whole bunch more. They will shake hands. Great sportsmanship between Liam Lonergan and Jadine Klomparens, and we are underway. A Horizon Canopy into a Llanowar Elves, and maybe that's a little bit telling starting with that land here for Liam.
Yeah, I mean, probably a land light hand. Put that together. I don't know if that's actionable information from Klomparens' side, but not the land you typically want to lead with.
It doesn't appear as though Liam has a full hand here. I think he may have taken at least one mulligan. We can confirm that here in just a moment, as Jadine is going to sacrifice a Wooded Foothills, going to search up a land here.
Yeah, those looks like 6.
I believe 6. She's going to get herself a Blood Crypt. Going to fall down to 17, and you know how Jen likes to start things.
One mana spell.
Maybe a little discard, maybe a little lightning bolt. We'll see. Yeah, Liam is on 6 cards here. And it isn't a discard spell. It is Inquisition of Kozilek. So here is the hand in a Zuri, a Heritage Druid, a Dyren's Elite, and a Court of Calling. How do we want to try to pick a hole in this one, Patrick?
To me, this feels like a matchup that's largely about mana, and can Lonergan develop a big board with a lot of mana and combo out. To me, the Heritage Druid is the most threatening thing in the hand to that end, but this just depends so much on what Klomparens' hand looks like and what she wants to value.
Jadine taking a long look at things here. Of course, we don't have a great look at her hand, but she's obviously thinking about her hand as she's making a decision on what to take here. Some of these cards very problematic. It looks like she's going to select the Elite.
And
Liam lose that.
And I'm a fan of selecting the Elite here if Klomparens has a removal spell to follow up with next turn.
A Forest to draw here from Liam. He'll play Heritage Druid. He's going to come across here for 1 with the Llanowar Elves. Klomparens going to fall down to 16. She'll take a draw here. Does she have a removal spell? Maybe take care of that Llanowar Elf. We'll have to see. Looks like she has a Bloodstained Mire. That's land number 2. Simply going to pass the turn back. We head back over to Lonergan. He will draw a card, Cavernous Souls. So lands do not appear to be much more of a problem. Here come the beatdowns. Klomparens will fall a little bit lower. And now it might be Cavernous Souls into Azuri, but if you do play Azuri here, you kind of leave yourself available to having it be killed.
Yes. But the other alternative here involves sitting on Court of Calling without a whole lot to do.
Elf is the name here on Cavernous Souls, of course. I'm just going to pass the turn back. Klomparens will sacrifice a Bloodstained Mire. Fall down to 13. We'll see what land she wants to search up. Wouldn't be surprised to see an Overgrown Tomb here in just a moment. And that's exactly what it'll be. It'll hit a battlefield tapped. Klomparens will shuffle and present here in just a moment. We'll see what her third turn of the game brings. Now, most of the time when you play against Elves, Patrick, Liliana not really that big of a factor, but I think right now, actually, Liliana's not a bad play on turn 3.
I think any 1-for-1 removal spell that Klomparens can put together here is good for her. Liliana not as best in this matchup, and not even great on this spot, but Lonergan's draw here slow enough, and Klomparens able to break up his anti-Liliana measure with the Inquisition on the first turn. Means Liliana will be acceptable, even though it's still not great. I think it's above the bar. It's
Verdant Catacombs here for Jadine. She's going to fall down to 12. Remember, Elves, no burn here. You know, I'm not going to find, I believe, I want to make sure no Shaman is the pack over there for Liam, and there aren't any. Some versions do have that card. Jadine looks like she's going to search up a tapped Overgrown Tomb, which means we might be seeing Tasigur enter the fray. We do see her delve away, play the 4-5, and pass the turn back over to Lonergan. Lonergan looks like he did pick up a copy of the Elite.
Really great draw here. Yep. Lonergan starting to generate a lot of mana here. turning the Court of Calling in hand to a payoff card.
3 mana now, there is Azuri. Now we'll take a look at Azuri here very quickly. For those of you who are unfamiliar, it is maybe the payoff card in this Elves deck. The Renegade Leader is a 2/2. It gets to regenerate another target elf, so it cannot regenerate itself. Very important in situations like this against Jund. And then for 2 colorless and 3 green mana, elf creatures you control, including itself, get +3/+3 and gain trample. And that's something that you can activate multiple times in a turn.
Lonergan's board here does not amount to much if Klomparens is able to get the Azuri off the table before Lonergan untaps. But this is a lot of pressure if Klomparens has a removal light hand. And you get the sense that could be going on based on how little removal she's played over the course of the first couple turns.
Mm-hmm. No sacrifice fetch line yet again, will Jadine.
Sort of speaks to one of the issues in the matchup from Klomparens' side. All of her creatures are fine. Some of them are good, but only when they are backed up by removal. If she just has a bunch of creatures sitting on the battlefield, she can't really pressure Lonergan, and long-term can't contain his board.
Well, I'm curious to see what the follow-up's going to be here, because as you mentioned, just not a lot going on right now. Just going to pass that turn back. Horizon Canopy the draw. Remember, Court of Calling in hand. JD knows that. She doesn't know about the Horizon Canopy. She doesn't know about the Court, though, from an earlier discard spell. That's Horizon Canopy. Now I'm really curious to see what comes next.
Yep. Well, I mean, the Court is a pretty powerful insurance policy here now that Lonergan is untapped. He does have a made-up copy of Spellskite, which he can use to protect the Azuri. He still feels light on, mana and resources to start making alpha strikes here, as it's 5 mana to pump into the Azuri to make the overrun effect happen, and then he needs a green mana left over to regenerate one of the smaller creatures that get blocked. He does have the option of just sending in the 4 non-Azuri elves and regenerating whichever one Tasigur blocks. That's a pretty slow burn, though.
Well, here comes everything except for Llanowar Elves, which gives Liam the ability to activate the overrun effect here. Tasigur's a 4/5. Jadine doesn't have a lot of life to work with. It makes you wonder if she does have a removal spell here in this instance, but if she had one, she probably would have killed the Azuri already.
Right.
Heritage Druid will be blocked. Maybe she's trying to trap him a little bit here. I'm not sure.
I mean, Lonergan's hand's forced here.
Yep.
Might as well go for it now.
Liam is going to have to take some damage. It's going to be an activation. I guess she's looking for Slaughter Pact. Yep, there is no Slaughter Pact. She's all done here.
Yep.
Liam Lonergan is going to win game number 1 here over Jadine Klomparens. Elves up a game over Jund.
Klomparens there, kind of losing to the earlier chip shots in her lands early on in the game there. The board was not super profitable for Lonergan to attack with, assuming that she was at 19 or 20, would have taken a little bit of time there, but with her at 11, could just go wide and overrun to get it.
Yeah, pretty straightforward stuff. Azuri kind of flexing its muscles, didn't have to see Cord that game, and really, being honest, I don't think that was Liam's best draw.
No. But Klomparens there with no removal spells cast over the course of the game, just the 1 copy of Inquisition, and even Lonergan's more anemic draws are probably going to be able to go wide around a single, turn 3 Tasigur is the only board impacting play.
Yeah, so we'll begin in the sideboard after this game is over. You see both players shuffling up because it's 2 games pre-board, 3 games afterward, but we will talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale one last time here this weekend. Patrick does love himself some non-English singles, so you can talk about it.
I do. It's a great way to show off your passion about Magic while burdening your opponents quite a bit. We have a sale every week, 11 a.m. Eastern. New sale goes up every single week, so make sure to be checking back to the website once a week. Check out the sales that are available. This week, 10% off all non-English singles. You can see some of them on the screen. You may not necessarily be able to read them, but you can see them. Sale ends tomorrow, 10:59 a.m. Eastern. So if you're looking to buy these cards, head on over now. Sale does not have a whole lot of time left.
That's very true. So when you think of players who like non-English cards, who jumps to mind first?
Jerry Thompson.
Right, is he number 1, I think,
Yes.
on everyone's list?
Very high on the list.
Yeah. We are underway here. Game number 2. Klomparens just a Wooded Foothills pass the turn back.
So little time spent shuffling.
Yeah, you got to be happy.
Good on you two.
Absolutely. I don't think they pile shuffled or anything. I can't confirm, But they were ready to rock and roll.
Whew. Easiest way to my heart. Just shuffle and go.
Yep. I think they're saying, let's get these pre-board games over with. Let's get to the old sideboarded ones where things changed quite a bit. Blood Crypt here, the fine for Klomparens. She's going to fall down to 19.
Especially in high-stress situations like this, finals of the Invitational, very common for players to kind of sit around and just gather themselves. And these two are just going.
Jadine will untap. She will take a draw here. An Overgrown Tomb's going to bring her down to 17. And now just going to pass the turn back. Cavernous Souls will be land number 2 here from Liam. Elves will be the name, of course. And now here comes Nettle Sentinel. In for 2. Klomparens going to fall down to 15. I think we might see an Elvish Visionary here in just a moment. And it looks like we do. That'll untap Nettle Sentinel. There'll also be a trigger for Liam to draw a card. I think we'll see a removal spell here from Jadine on the end step. Can't pay 2 life and do nothing, I think.
And now she's got a path, I think, with Liliana in hand to go end of turn removal spell, untap, Liliana, your board's clear, and then go to work, assuming that she has land number 3.
I don't think she does. She just has Dark Confidant, has to pass the turn back. Heritage Druid the draw, and we could see an explosive turn here now.
Yep.
Cavernous Souls is the land. Again naming elves.
And this is the type of matchup where you see a really big difference between 2 pre-board games and 1. Because Klomparens has a lot of sweepers post-board, and Lonergan in games 1 and 2, though, can just play everything.
Heritage Druid, Elvish Mystic. And now can make 3 mana. Looks like Liam has his copy of Reclamation Sage in hand. Dark Confidant is a reveal. Overgrown Tomb will go to hand. As will Lightning Bolts. 3rd land, 1 mana removal spell. Not bad. There is Overgrown Tomb.
But even at this stage now, if Klomparens even has a removal spell and a land drop, Lonergan's still in a position to start attacking. Dark Confidant, not much of a blocker, and probably no path for Klomparens to win this game in the short term. So she might have to try to get herself off the hook right now and just trade the Dark Confidant for anything.
Here's a Duress. 3 mana, let's make it 4. There's Collected Company. Couple of cards on the way here. Two Direwind's Elite. Which means 2 elves on the way. This could get ugly very fast. Show the hand. Heritage Druid, Reclamation Sage, Horizon Canopy. Nothing to take.
And I think if Klomparens attacks, Lonergan will say no blocks.
Yeah. Happy to take it. What Jadine needs now is something like a Tarmogoyf.
I mean, even that, Lonergan's going so wide right now.
Yeah. Horizon Canopy. Liam will sacrifice that. He'll draw a card. I think it may have been an Archdruid. That's exactly what it is. These elves are larger now. And it looks like everybody's going to come in. Klomparens does have the removal spell for the Archdruid, which is pretty important here. But that Dark Confidant's not long for this world. And Jadine might not be either. There's your block. There's a Terminate.
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Lonergan casting the Elvish Archdruid before combat because it's so likely Klomparens has a removal spell that she'll have to cast inside of combat this turn just to sort of stabilize the board a little bit. If Klomparens is really on nothing, then you're going to win the game next turn anyway. Probably would have just held it for 1 turn.
Wooded Foothills here from Jadine. Going to bring her down to 6. I think it's got to be a basic. Because it certainly seems that way. It will be a basic forest.
Although now with the way things are, if she has a copy of Kalidas on the table, she's okay.
Yep. Little lifelink stabilization. She also has a Slaughter Pact in hand. All right, there's Kalidas.
Okay.
There's a game to be played here. Now Liam's got some big draws. Metal Sentinel I would not count as one of them.
He's also got a lot of really bad draws.
Yes, very true.
Quarter Calling, Collected Company, Missouri, there's some big ones, but there are a lot of misses. And the Slaughter Pact paired with the Kalidas is exactly the recipe for Lonergan to run into an Alpha Strike that's a catastrophe.
That's the big trap. Lonergan going to rearrange a little bit here. Is he willing to make some sort of large attack in this situation?
So it essentially attacks for 2 at the expense of a creature on the table.
There's 3 mana. Reclamation Sage isn't going to kill anything. Looks like it's just an emptying of the hand.
Yep, he wants to just play out everything in his hand anyway because Klomparens is playing with discard spells, so you might as well cast everything.
Yep.
He also wants to be able to go wide and win should he find a Zuri or something similar to that. But also he may at least on the table now have enough resources to make an Alpha Strike. It is super dangerous because Klomparens needs very little in terms of removal or instant speed interaction to be able to blow up the attack and maybe hit the point of no return. But Lonergan may at least be able to convince himself to start swinging in.
Now can Jadine start swinging in?
Probably not.
No. Liliana.
She picks up 5 points by blocking a 2/2 versus picking up 3 by attacking, and her life total is tenuous enough that that's the swinging factor, I would guess.
Liliana takes down, makes Liam sacrifice a creature. Liam sacrifices a elf token, which does not trigger Kalidas. This looks to be an attack with everyone. Now we're going to see the catastrophe I think you talked about.
Yeah.
Lightning Bolt's going to target Nettle Sentinel. We'll see if this works. Is a response Collected Company high?
All right, well, he can collect a company into his spell sky here.
He could also collect a company into 2 copies of Elvish Archdruid, potentially. Azuri is one of the cards he's found. Direwin's Elite is another. No mana. Actually, wow, that's insane.
Oh, now he's got 3 up now?
Yeah, he has 3 up now.
I don't think that amounts to much.
Well, he can use the 3 mana to regenerate.
Oh, sure, yeah. No, that is, yep, you're right.
Because he's got a Heritage Druid out there. I think maybe he may have missed that.
Well, the thing that now Klomparens can do is use the Slaughter Packet on the Azuri, force the regeneration up front.
Yep, and then block accordingly.
Yeah, and then just block other stuff. Yeah. Everything in play is relatively interchangeable.
There is Slaughter Pact on Azuri, just like you mentioned. Another zombie on the way. There is some blocking to be done here for sure.
Yeah, now the House of Cards is collapsing.
Slowly but surely.
I mean, Klomparens may be, between what's happening this turn and the amount of life that she picks up next turn from an attack, might be in a position next turn to start flipping this around and attacking.
I will say, don't miss that pack trigger.
Yeah, that's important.
Yep.
Of course.
Got to pay the cost to be the boss.
So this Alpha Strike lands with Klomparens, I believe, taking a point of damage and getting a truckload of zombies for her trouble.
Mm-hmm. So those 2 elves that'll die are also exiled. Actually, 3 elves will die. Jeez. So 3 more zombies. Hello, Kalidas.
All right, so this is a big Slaughter Pact here. I think Klomparens is right about to turn the corner.
We're good.
Yeah,
We're good. We're good.
Good.
I like that they use red mana there instead of the Overgrown Tomb. Because here's an attack with Kalidas. It's going to go up to 7 now. Liliana up. Discard Tarmogoyf. Makes me wonder what that card is left in hand.
Well, I guess Tarmogoyf isn't really doing a whole lot else that the Kalidas isn't doing at this point.
Sure.
It's got to be something good.
Yeah, clearly.
Obviously, it's not a land, but...
Horizon can't be the draw there from Liam. He will play that activated draw card.
Ultimately, I think having access to another Edict, especially with a Kalidas in play, is just more valuable than having the Tarmogoyf in play next turn.
Sure. Heading back Jadine's way. No good attacks here from Liam Lonergan. Maelstrom Pulse.
Oh. Okay, not a good sign.
That's the discard.
Lonergan has begun pulling on his hair, a move that I did
Yeah.
in similarly distressing situations.
Is it time for the beatdowns? Jadine's working with about as good of information as you can right now.
Yeah, the only question here is there enough mana for something to happen with Azuri and a kill on the way back?
Couple of zombies. But curiously, no attack with Kalidas.
Well, I think she may want to measure this over the course of 2 turns, where she pumps the Kalidas and then pumps the Kalidas again, so there's no gang block that can occur.
Got it. Liam looks to have drawn a spell.
I know it looks a little shaky, and perhaps Lonergan can't afford to block anyway, but I think Klomparens just playing a little bit safe here and making sure there's no way that Kalidas can die.
That's what it looks like. End of turn, sacrifice a zombie, put some counters there. Time to untap. I'm still dying to know what that card is. Liliana's going to tick up. Jadine is ready to discard. Here's a Collected Company. Nettle Sentinel, Horizon Canopy, Llanowar Elves, Spellskite, Collected Company, and Elvish Archdruid. Those are 2 good cards to find.
Yep. Top of Lonergan's deck has been quite cooperative the last couple turns. Thought we had hit the point of no return a few times here, and he's keeping his head above water.
Absolutely. Discard Bloodstained Mire.
Elvish Archdruid also significant from a mana perspective.
Maelstrom Pulse. Gonna target the Archdruid. Gonna redirect over the Spellskite. Lonergan will take 2, fall down to 11. Jadine is still going to get a zombie. That Spellskite is exiled.
As long as Lonergan can keep the game where he's drawing to Azuri, where he has enough mana and enough stuff in play, the game's not over.
Yep. That's the trick right now.
The problem is Klomparens is going to start being able to represent lethal or close to it very soon. And once the critical mass of elves start having to trade and chump block, it's very hard for Lonergan to even draw to Azuri at that point.
Well, he's got to keep the house of cards up.
Right.
That's the trick. And he's got some really good draws. Cord, Company, Azuri. The Spellskite's no longer there as an out. But he's got some good draws available.
Right, but there's nothing in the middle of the road. There's no okay draws at this point. Most of his cards are bricks. There are a couple very good ones. But he's not drawing to a whole bunch of them.
The question now is, what is the card that he drew? Because he is thinking about it quite a bit.
Yep.
Maybe posturing a little bit because of Liliana, not sure.
Yep.
All right, another Archer. Elves have gotten larger. I still don't think there's any good attacks for him.
But having this much on the battlefield may prevent Klomparens from attacking with the Kalidas for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice for her to be able to attack with that, because as her life total grows, then Azuri becomes less and less of an impactful card.
Ticking down. Yep, token down. No zombie on the way. Yeah, now a draw of Azuri is, or Cord is almost a nightmare.
Yep.
Because there's so much mana at Liam's disposal. So a little bit of resiliency here from the Elves deck. Raging Ravine. Pass the turn back. Take a draw. Look, that one looked like a land.
Yep.
Pass that turn. Jadine will untap the Raging Ravine. She'll draw. See what this is. Scavenging Ooze, not bad.
Yep. Another sizable blocker, another source of life gain.
Got to plus the Liliana to be able to tick down the Liliana next turn, perhaps. Lonergan will draw. Oh boy.
There it is.
Quarter Calling is here. That may have just been what the doctor ordered here for Liam.
And Klomparens is empty-handed.
Mm-hmm. And he's just going to pass the turn right now. Ooze is going to activate 3 times. Going to remove some things from the graveyard. I think the goal here for Klomparens is to gain a bunch of life. But Jadine is in quite a bit of trouble. She just doesn't know it yet. Time to untap. And draw. A removal spell would be very timely here for her. Just a Raging Ravine. Plus, there will be a response. Believe you me. Quarter Calling. And this is for 4. But in reality, I think it's just for 3. There is Azuri Renegade Leader.
And no shortage of mana to work with.
Yeah, plenty of it at Liam's disposal, that's for sure.
And if he wants to, he can simply not attack with the Azuri, regenerate anything that Klomparens blocks with Kalidas, overrun through everything else.
She's going to have to get pretty creative now. Remember, those elves are also larger because the 2 archers that are in
Right,
play
yeah,
too.
there's a lot of size and a lot of mana.
Yeah.
And as long as Azuri is in play, Klomparens can't exactly make inroads.
Here's an attack with Scavenging Ooze. Trying to make a little something happen here. Elvish Visionary is just going to block and regenerate with Azuri.
Yep.
Pretty simple
Right.
block there. I think JD trying to get Liam to make a mistake, but he was unwilling to make one. Time to untap. Yep, here comes everybody. Well, most everybody. But this is a lot of mana right now at Liam's disposal. Each archer is going to attack for, or excuse me, can tap for 9. So that's 18.
So that's 3 overruns plus 3 regeneration if it comes to it.
Yeah.
I mean, Kalidas might in fact be on chump blocking detail
Yeah, I
at
think
this point.
it's not winning any battles right now, it doesn't seem. Remember, all these creatures get trampled too.
And Klomparens can only really finagle this by blocking with zombies and sacking onto Kalidas, but trample invalidates that line. And so we have 3 overruns times 6 attackers. It's 18 gets us to 54. It's a lot. It's a
There's the breakdown.
yeah,
That's carry the 1.
right.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yep. And then the it's another 12 from the Archdruids. So it gets us to 66, and then there's the power in play. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
Klomparens is at 10.
Yeah.
So
is that like JD's at 50?
Yeah, Kalidas is going to have to do some real work here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Not sure if that's work Cletus is capable of doing. Jadine's going to do the math, see if it's possible, of course, but this is a tough spot here, to say the least. And I think soon enough we'll be heading to a 3rd game, and we are. Liam Lonergan up 2-0 over Jadine Klomparens. Elves currently dominating Jund.
That was a tough one, I think, for Klomparens because it looked like everything was kind of going to plan.
Yeah.
Had a Kalidas that was going to start gaining a bunch of life and forcing Lonergan to chump block, and at that point, Azuri's not even a draw, but just some very good draw steps there for Lonergan while he was empty-handed. A lot of copies of Quarter Calling, Collected Company, Elvish Archdruid. Really, I think only had 1 drawn land over the span of 4 or 5 turns where he needed some high leverage draws, and he hit again and again. Now Klomparens has her back against the wall.
To the sideboards we go. We are going to start with Jadine, who's got an Ancient Grudge, 2 Anger of the Gods, 3 Fulminator Mage, a Grim Lavamancer, 2 Kitchen Finks, 2 Nile Spellbomb, 2 Obstinate Baloth, a Painful Truths, and a Pithing Needle.
Love the Needle, love the Lavamancer, love the 2 copies of Anger of the Gods.
Yeah.
Those seem like pretty straightforward cards to bring in. I could even see with the amount of removal that she has access to and with some inefficient cards, the 1 copy of Painful Truths coming in as well.
Just trying to make those exchanges and gas back up.
And finding Anger of the Gods is worth so much that it's worth the 3 life.
Other side of things here for Liam, Aven Mind Sensor, Burrington Forge Tender, Chameleon Colossus, Eidolon of Rhetoric, an Elvish Champion and Essence Warden, 2 Fracturing Gust, a Kataki War's Wage, 2 Kitchen Finks, 2 Path to Exile, a Malaria, Sylvok Outcast, and a Phyrexian Revoker.
So we can kind of see by the way the games have gone so far that Lonergan doesn't really care very much about the creatures. The battle is going to be over the spells, so I'd be surprised if Path to Exile came in. I like the 2 copies of Kitchen Finks, I like the Burrington Forge Tender, and the Chameleon Colossus seems like a great potential core target as well.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to play more of a grindy game here where effects like Anger of the Gods and Alarm Removal are involved, Chameleon Colossus is actually a hard card for Jen to beat.
I mean, you can't bolt it, and you can't use black removal on it, and that's pretty much what Klomparens is bringing to the table.
Yeah, it's going to come down to Tarmogoyf, and Chameleon Colossus can actually outsize it.
Right. It is the biggest elf.
Yeah.
There is no elf bigger.
Those are the options there for both players. Klomparens will be on the play. She certainly has her back against the wall right now. She's got to win 3 games in a row. But we've seen someone actually do that before in this building.
Well, on top of that, I mean, we can go back to her match against BBD, where they were X-3 the first round of Standard. So Jadine lost game 1 after mulligan to 5. Mulligan to 5 game 2 on the play. Was able to win that one and the match and the remaining 3. And already won a game 5 today in the quarterfinals. So this is not her first time being up against it. And it's hard to avoid in tournaments like this, but she's responded to the call each time so far.
Well, we're going to talk about the Season 3 schedule here on the SCG Tour while these 2 players do get ready. And the New Jersey Invitational is wrapping up. Behind us, there is a Modern Open taking place that had about 760 players. They're in the top 8 right now. Ross Merriam actually looking to go back-to-back with Dredge here this weekend. He's one of 8 players, in the top 8 this weekend. We go to Richmond after a little bit of a break for Standard, and then sunny Orlando.
Yeah, Orlando for Modern, and then we start off October with the Standard Open in Indianapolis. October 15th is the Standard Regional Championships. You can head over to go.sarcygames.com/regionals for more information. We just announced the venues this weekend, so you go check that out. Then we go to Modern in Milwaukee. After Milwaukee, we head to Baltimore for Legacy. Columbus will be Modern. Knoxville for Standard, and then beginning of December, the Season 3 Invitational in Atlanta, Georgia, Standard and Modern as the invitational formats.
Gives you an idea what we'll be working with as far as events are concerned, but let's talk about playmats now. And we can talk about our standard playmat. If you play in a Standard Open or Classic, you will get Dark Salvation just for entering those tournaments. If you do a Modern tournament, like what we're watching right now, Steel Overseer, will be what you walk away with. And for Legacy fans out there, it's Sensei's Divining Top. Again, if you do enter any of our tournaments, you will get a playmat free and exclusive with entering into any Season 3 Open or Classic here on the SCG Tour. As now we turn our attention back to our match where Liam Lonergan, someone who's certainly making a name for himself this weekend, up 2-0 over Jadine Klomparens. Funny, yesterday, we cut to our top 8, we make our announcement, and we have our 7 players, we can't find Liam. And where's Liam gone? And after trying to ping him on social media and Facebook and everything, he comes back kind of out of breath, saying, "Sorry, I've never done this well in the tournament before. I didn't know what the procedures were or what I'm supposed to do." And now here he is, 1 game away from winning the Invitational and going to the Players Championship.
And he's got 3 cracks at it too.
Yes, he does. He might be new to the competitive scene, but he is certainly doing pretty well for himself right now, as now Klomparens is taking a mulligan. And Liam looks to be keeping his 7. How do we feel about Elves, the deck choice this weekend? I don't think he's lost with it yet.
I think it's really good if the field is largely not about interaction.
Yeah?
I don't think the deck holds up very well in the spot removal formats or when the metagame is about that, though he is playing against Jund in the finals and doing quite well for himself. I think the matchup against Jeskai or just decks with sweepers in general isn't very good, but I think this is one of the better decks to play, assuming the games are not very interactive. You generate a lot of mana very fast, you can kill over the top of blockers, so in a field with a bunch of decks like Dredge doing well, I would imagine this deck becomes a solid choice. Also, not without precedent, it did win the Modern Grand Prix that we covered
last year in Charlotte.
Yep.
Michael Malone was the champion there.
Correct.
And this was a deck that people actually kind of went towards during that Eldrazi winter as well. That certainly had some success. So Jadine gonna take a look. Don't think she loves. Nope. That's not giving me a lot of confidence there.
On camera so far this weekend, 2 for 3 on mulligans to 5.
Fair enough.
All right, we're going to find out one more time.
Gonna take the challenge, I guess.
Going back to the modern open for a moment. Not only Ross Merriam going back to back, but a fellow, got a shout out, fellow Hillsborough High School class of 2000 graduating member alongside myself, Anand Kare in the top 8.
Okay.
With Bogles.
He knows a good deck.
Yes.
He knows a good one when he sees it.
He had some soaking wet Boggles that some matches that I watched while the second set was going on.
They weren't dry?
They were damp.
Yeah. Wearing all the enchantments.
Musky. Yeah. Beating our dear friend Chad Castell for the slot there in the top 8.
Yeah. Chad's having a rough go of it today.
Yep. X1 in the open into X4 to miss top 8. Ran out of here to catch his flight. Flight got canceled. We love you, man. Hope you go out to Florida safe eventually.
Maybe we'll see him for dinner.
Yeah, and you come on back.
Come on back.
Just stay in the room again.
Newark's really close to here, right? Just an hour?
Newark?
Yeah.
It's half an hour.
All right. Jadine. Gonna scry to the bottom. Keep the 5. This is not going to be easy, but she's going to try.
I think in the pre-board games, mulligan to 5, very hard for her to win because she doesn't have one knockout card. Post-board games, where she has access to 2 copies of Anger of the Gods and to a lesser extent Grim Lavamancer, I think she can be competitive on 5 cards.
Okay. There's Stomping Ground. Maybe she's starting with Grim Lavamancer.
I don't think she's got any other red or green ones in the deck.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, there we go.
That's a start.
Now, how much fuel can she have on 5 cards? That's a question, too.
Yep.
But if you're going to mulligan to 5, this is the best card you can have.
It's Llanowar Elves. And now we head back over to Jadine. Nope, just has to pass. Back over to Lonergan, who has drawn a copy of Chameleon Colossus. He could explode here at any moment. That's what this deck does so incredibly well. First an attack for 1.
Love it.
Yeah?
Stamp of approval on that attack.
I figured you'd like it. There's the Darwin's Elite. Bring Elf along with it. Let's go over to Jadine. Doesn't look like a land to me. Looks like a copy of Thoughtseize. Just has to pass the turn back. Over to Liam we go. Eternal Witness is the draw. Looks like it's time for an Elvish Archdruid. Beatdowns for 5. Klomparens will fall down to 11.
It's now or never.
Yes, sure is.
If she can activate the Lavamancer, if she gets another turn, maybe can keep playing. But if we're at the end of the road here.
A Lightning Bolt sort of counts.
Okay.
Yep. Pass the turn back. Metal Sentinel the draw here for Liam. Liam does not really have a lot of mana to work with.
But he's got a lot of spells.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And Klomparens is not up to very much right now.
Elvish Visionary comes down. Elvish Mystic the draw off of that. Llanowar Elves will allow Metal Sentinel in the battlefield. Here comes an attack for 3. Klomparens down to 8. She will draw a card. Is it a second land? It is a oh boy, Painful Truths is aptly named right now. He felt she would bring it in. I think it was correct to do so, but aptly named.
I mean, she's got a land in play. Any 3-mana spell's bad. Anger of the Gods would be a bad draw right now.
Yep.
So that's
just going to pass that turn back over to Lonergan. Cavern going to come down. We'll see what it names here in just a moment. Fairly sure to be Elves, and it is Elf. Everybody's coming on into the red zone. I think it's time to block with the Lavamancer.
a little of an odd play here. I understand Lonergan wants to get the untap on the Metal Sentinel, but he's representing that he's doing something with the Llanowar Elf after combat here.
Chameleon Colossus.
Yes. So I think I would have just preferred to tap out as the first order of business for Chameleon Colossus. A small thing, but He's got plenty of green cards to untap the Nettle Sentinel next turn if it comes down to it.
And there is Chameleon Colossus. Jadine's going to draw one card. I think it's her last draw of the tournament, unfortunately. This matchup did not go the way that she was hoping. Sometimes can be favorable for Jun. Bloodstained Mire is finally here. She will sacrifice that. Fall down to 4.
Jadine does not concede.
I wouldn't concede either.
You have to attack for lethal.
You get to cross the finish line.
Yep.
It's Tarmogoyf. Pass that turn back. Lonergan will draw. Here comes everybody, and that is going to do it. Liam Lonergan is going to win this match over Jadine Klomparens 3-0. And we have just found our next player in the Players' Championship. He is your New Jersey Invitational Champion.